Okay, I got my Jake brake. I have a 2-cylinder switch and the 4-cylinder switch. When I turn on the 2 cylinders, it works intermittently. Sometimes it works, but most of the time it doesn't. Sometimes it kicks in and out, and it doesn't work very often. So let's try this here. Turn on the 4, and it comes on. And my turn's coming up pretty fast because I got started late with that one. Okay, I got my 2-cylinder switch on, and it kicked in a little bit, went out. Nothing. A little bit. So I've got to figure out what's wrong with that anyway. I was trying to find some things on YouTube on what could be the problem, and one guy had a video. He didn't talk on it at all, but he showed that the wires were all loose on the solenoids. The little crimps where they go on the solenoids are all loose. So I'm thinking that might be my problem. I'm hoping it's something like that. I'd rather not have to replace the solenoids. So I need to try to dig into that and figure that out. Okay, I've got a 98 Freightliner with a 97 engine. It's a 60 series Detroit. 12.7 liter, I believe they are. These harnesses are so brittle, they got me. They just kind of shattered. When we turn the Jake on, the 2 cylinders would work all the time. So this one, you pull it off. This must have been the one that was working all the time. Come over here. So
why would it
was just sitting
it out?
It's not created out, it was pinched, it just lost its. Actually, it looks like when they put it in, they just stuffed it in there and it wadded up and only grabbed a couple wires. So it looked like poor crimp connections to vibration. So it broke off, but it was still touching. So when it would jiggle just right, then it would connect and it would come on. I haven't checked this one right here. The crimp is really loose, it's really big. And so this was the other cylinder the other 2 cylinders that were getting bite once in a while. I gotta fix these 2 issues on these two front Jake sets. Be the front 4 cylinders, and then we should be in good shape. No money except for the $70 valve cover gasket. So that'd be nice to have my Jakes back. It's not every vehicle you get to just sit right beside the engine or on top of it and work on it. It's pretty fun. looks like the solder took into the wire, so that's good. I got it in the wire and the connector. And then I put this in backwards so that it should slide right in alongside here. Just like that, and it's pulling from the right direction, so I think that ought to work swell. Now for this one. It comes around from there, so we'll do a little different method with this one. I don't have any of the L connectors, so I'm just making do with what I got, and I think it's going to be just fine. I'll put this one on from the front side. I really like this. This Milwaukee solder gun is really nice. I'm not much of a solder torch kind of guy because my wires are generally small. If I'm doing heavy cables, I like to do I'd like to use a torch, but when I'm doing smaller wires, I like a small one. Well, I always used an electric one, and that always requires a cord. When the light's green, it's hot enough, ready to solder, so we'll go for it. I can put a little on the tip, joins over to start heating up the wires, and then add a little solder to it and let it eat in there. It took. A little bit worried about the wire taking, the copper taking the solder because of the amount of oil that had been around the wires, but Flux did a good enough job of cleaning it that it just burnt whatever oil was there out of the way. Throw a little bit of that excess away that I don't need. Now, something that I forgot to do is put my heat shrink on first, and this stuff is good enough. I just want to add a little heat shrink so that it doesn't bend out and get hit right here on this steel. But for this part, I actually like a torch better, but my torch is out of gas, so I am using the heat gun. I mean, I do like this little thing. It comes in handy, but for heat shrink, I just don't think there's anything like a little torch flame. And this is adhesive line. I really like the adhesive line stuff. You heat it up, it shrinks down, and then the adhesive just oozes all over everything. There. Looks like a nice insulated connector. Plug that one back onto here. Oh yeah, I'm glad I did that. Really glad I put the heat shrink on that one. Okay, that one looks good without any heat shrink on it. I don't think that's necessary there. That one's way out of the way. This one right here has got pretty close to the steel, along with this one too. This other one, now this one didn't have any issues, but based off of the other two having issues, I'm going to go ahead and replace this one too. But the other two I was able just to grab and twist hard enough. I just twisted this off by hand, but this one is not wanting to be that nice. Get that off. Because I don't need that blue part on there. I am doing a totally different deal. and let it preheat a little bit. It'll flash green until it's hot, then it'll turn solid green. Adjust this over. So rather than putting the soldering iron on the wire, let's see if putting the gun in one spot and holding the wire on the iron works better. That's a little easier to keep it steady. A little bit windy out here. This thing puts out enough heat if you don't have any wind. But when you get a little chilly wind, it actually is enough to make it think twice about heating up hot enough for you. And I just heat it up enough until I see the glue oozing out the end onto the wire. Well, that should fix the jake brakes. Okay. Now let's see if it wants to just go back together here. That's what I'm hoping for. I pressure washed the valve cover up, and then I washed these with soap and water, and everything dried out, so I'm ready to put it back together.
So, you just dried it out.
Yeah.
What are these holes for?
That's where the bolts go.
Oh.
See down in there?
Yes.
Yep, and we stick this in here, and then this rubber seals right there so the oil doesn't come back out.
Oil?
Yep, there'll be oil in here.
Are you going to pour some in?
It's down in the bottom of the oil pan, and when it starts up, the oil pump pumps it up on the top to keep everything lubricated.
Yeah. And it can't get out.
Yeah.
So, there's one more.
Yep, I have to put that one over out on the front side where the hole is.
Okay. One side where the hole is.
Yep, out here. They're done with their hole.
This is kind of bendy.
What's kind of bendy?
This rather.
Oh, yeah, it's on soft ground.
And the snow too.
Yep.
So.
It's a 15mm. Start face down. Tighten these down by hand because
you need to.
Yeah, I can't feel what kind of pressure it's putting on it with the impact. Yeah, I lost all my ratchets, so all I have is this torque wrench for a 1/2-inch drive. So.
Do you have a ratchet?
Well, I just use this for my ratchet because I don't have a 1/2-inch ratchet. 1/2-inch drive.
Oh yeah, that says that.
It says Detroit Diesel, Series 60.
Other on that socket.
No. It says Great Neck.
Okay. Alright. Do it that one again, that one again.
I want to tighten them all down evenly.
What is that up there for, Daddy?
What? A GoPro?
Yeah.
Okay, I'm filming a video of this.
It's not on.
Yeah, it's on. Its light's blinking.
I can't see anybody.
No, the screen's blank, but it's still recording. So I thought I would record a video for other people so that if they have their jigs doing what mine was doing, then they would know probably what's wrong with theirs. And see how easy it would be to fix it so that they don't have to keep going without their jig working right. I think that must have gone to there. And apparently somebody didn't like it there. They kept running out of antifreeze, so they thought it would be better if they just unplugged it.
Yeah.
And then it got onto something hot and melted it. Instead of fixing the antifreeze leak, they just unplugged the sensor and figured that was a better idea. Need you to lean, actually I'll have to have you, lean way over, I have to hop that over top of it, and pull this way. This has to come over here. It goes right here.
That is, what's that called again? That green?
What's what called again?
Yeah.
This right here?
Yeah.
Valve cover.
Well, that valve cover is the whole oil.
Yeah, it keeps the oil from coming out.
This snip is for the snip.
Yep.
What is snip, Daddy?
Hi.
What is snip?
I snipped some wires with it when I was cut the old connectors off before I put my new one. So basically all I had to do here is cut a couple zip ties, take these off, didn't even have to do anything there, just swiveled this bar over out of the way, then you have to cut this zip tie, the wire swiveled with it. Swiveled this one out of the way, 4 bolts across the valve cover and it came off. I wish I had pressure washed and around to clean it up first before I had taken it off and gotten rid of all this crumbly stuff that was trying to go down the engine. That was a bit of a mess.
So, yeah.
And you get some more zip ties and zip ties it back together and we ought to be good to go.
Daddy.
What?
That is a cover valve.
That's the valve cover? Yeah.
That green thing is a valve cover.
Yeah.
I'm down, Daddy.
Okay. You got it? Let me take you down? Okay.
I can do Papa here. Yes, Daddy. Look, Dad. He's a spider.
Yeah.
So, we need that. That's the valve cover.
Yep, that's the valve cover.
We need to save that on there.
Uh-huh.
You need to zip tie that and snip it.
Snip it with a tin snip?
Yep.
Okay. Snip.
This is the valve cover.
Yep, that's the valve cover.
We need to snip this one off.
No, we'll leave that one on. We're all done with it now. No, I never did have to take that one off. Thank you. I have to tighten this one too. So the oil that
that is old.
Yep.
need to take it out.
No, we had taken this off so that we could get the valve cover off, so I had to tighten it back again. Okay, I think that's done. Now we can try it. And you change the fuel filter.
That's good.
No, don't pull that off. It'll scratch the paint. We don't want it to slide.
What is the paint?
All that blue is paint.
I see the paint.
Yeah, and we don't want to scratch it.
Get this. This is the paint. That is probably enough.
You gonna hand me some? Thank you. Don't fall over. Can you grab that broken zip tie up, that cut zip tie up there?
Okay. I see it. Here.
Okay. Okay, let's test out the 2-cylinder switch. That one that didn't work very well before. That one works instantly. That one works really good. That's stronger than it used to be. Oh wow, that's good. That is fantastic. This truck's never had that good a jig before. Wow. That is good stuff there. Yeah, that tickles my funny bone.
Yeah.
That's equal running on all 6 cylinders right there. Oh, it sounds so smooth. Woo! Well, I could have stopped before the railroad tracks, not just slowed down for him. Woo! See, I think that was the problem before was my number 2 switch when I bought the truck. The number 2 switch worked all the time really well. But the 4 switch would work, only 2 cylinders were working on it. Once in a while the other one would kick it just for a little bit. So I thought that there might have been something a little weak with it, but I wasn't sure. And then this, the number 2 switch started going intermittent. So then I knew there was definitely something wrong somewhere. And yeah, now I have this one have 4 cylinders instead of 2, and the 2 back again. It just sounds pretty.